My name's Young Marine Sergeant Major McCall Beringer from Baltimore, Maryland, and for the next 2 weeks, we're going to follow the Young Marines on the Great American History Adventure all the way down the East Coast as we explore this great nation's amazing history. We are here in Salem, Massachusetts at the Salem Witch Museum experiencing what happened in 1692. We stop at the House of the Seven Gables. A delicious treat at the country's oldest candy store, Ye Olde Pepper Company. We stopped here at the Salem Burial Ground where we were brought to Castle Rock, which is on an island in Quincy, Massachusetts, to see the birthplace of John Adams and John Quincy Adams. Now we stop at the old house where John and Abigail Adams came back to after they visited England. As we visit the homestead, we stopped at the library where over 12,000 original books are kept.
Next on the Great American History Adventure, we are going to Plymouth Plantation. I'm Young Marine.
On our tour today is going to lead us to the Wampanoag home site. Next up on the tour is going to be Plymouth Village.
The Pilgrims, we stop at Plymouth Rock, where the Pilgrims first set foot, and the Mayflower too, to see what life was like those 66 days at sea. Adventure is to the Bunker Hill Museum and Bunker Hill Monument.
Reporting in from the USS Constitution, the Young Marines are about to view all 3 decks on this beautiful ship behind us.
On our next stop on the Great American History Adventure, we stopped at the Paul Revere Monument here in Boston, Massachusetts. If you look behind me now, you can see the monument.
Next we stop at the Old North Church where they would hang lanterns to tell which way the British were coming, 1 by land or 2 by sea. As we continue through the burial ground, we stop at a very famous burial site, the burial site of Paul Revere. As you can see, many of the Young Marines have put pennies above his tombstone as a sign of respect. Behind me, you can see the first public school where Benjamin Franklin attended. Behind me, we visit the Old State House where the Declaration of Independence was first read. Behind me, one of our very own patriots, Samuel Adams, the mouth of the Revolution and a signer of the Declaration of Independence.
Our first stop in New York takes us to the nation's first capital, the Federal Hall, and behind me you can see a copy of the Bill of Rights.
Next on our trip in New York, we stop at the Empire State Building to take the elevator all the way to We are about to board a ferry to make our way to Ellis Island. We now go to the Statue of Liberty. As we continue throughout New York City, we stop at a very special place to us, Ground Zero, where Young Marines. It's actually Times Square! Our first stop in Philadelphia leads us to the National Constitution Center for America, the Liberty Bell.
Our next stop at the Great American History Adventure is Independence Hall, where the Declaration of Independence was signed by the 55 signers of our new country.
Now we go into Congress Hall. Now we're at Carpenter's Hall. As we continue in Philadelphia, we walk down Elfreth's Alley, the oldest residential street still in use. Here we have Christ Church, where the signers of the Declaration of Independence all attended services. We now stop at the home of Betsy Ross, who made our first American flag. Here we are in the Comcast Center in Philadelphia as we view. We've now made our way to Valley Forge, where we're in for quite brings us here to Gettysburg. As we continue throughout Gettysburg, we now stop at Little Round Top.
We're here in Harpers Ferry, West Virginia. Behind me is John Brown Fort. John Brown held out against federal troops in his attempt to lead a slave rebellion.
Here we are at Antietam, the single bloodiest battle in America's history.
Sergeant Richter, and we're here at the American Civil War Center. The year is
The Civil War. And here at Pamplin Park, we are going to get the experience.
American History Adventure is the Jamestown Settlement in Virginia.
As we continue on, we stop in Yorktown, where the British surrendered during the Revolutionary War and we became America. After starting in Massachusetts, we've now worked our way all the way down to Quantico, Virginia, and we take a stop to observe the National Museum of the Marine Corps. Our first stop is the United States Marine Corps War Memorial.
Our next stop on day 12 brings us to the Arlington National Cemetery.
As we continue throughout Arlington National Cemetery, we stop here at the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier, where 4 of our young Marines will have the opportunity to lay a wreath on the tomb and show their respect. As we continue throughout DC, we stop here at the National Archives to view 2 of the most important documents in our history, the United States Constitution and the Declaration of Independence. Now we're going to walk our way through Washington, D.C. and view some of the memorials, starting with the World War II Memorial. As we continue throughout Washington, D.C., we stop at the Vietnam War Memorial, where the names of the men and women who sacrificed their lives are listed.
Our next stop here in Washington, D.C. is the Lincoln Memorial.
Washington, D.C., we stop at the Washington Monument, not the... Our first stop is the Air and Space Museum. We stop at the Capitol Building.